What's up? It's Friday. Everyone's favorite day. Even if you, well, the last few months, people kind of forgot what Friday meant, but it's still Friday. The weekend's coming. Got a lot of work to do in the yard. Haven't mowed my lawn for a while, and it keeps raining on me, but hey, it's still the weekend, and I'm excited. Also, you know what else is this weekend? Father's Day. Now, if you have a father in your life, make sure that you're taking care of good old dad. I know that my kids have plans for me. Hopefully those are good plans. But anyway, good morning. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. And we got, I'm going to go political today. We're going to talk about some political things happening. The Trump campaign, the rallies are starting again tomorrow in Tulsa. Today is Juneteenth. Now, if you're not familiar with Juneteenth, that's the day that in Texas, it's not the end of slavery. A lot of people keep saying that Juneteenth commemorates the end of slavery, and that's not true. The Emancipation Proclamation had been signed for 2 years before Juneteenth actually occurred, and it actually commemorates the time when in Texas, for somehow the either the word didn't get out or just somehow it was 2 years after the end of slavery, and there were still some slaveholders in Texas who apparently didn't realize the law had been passed. So apparently the Union soldiers came to Texas and reminded them that, hey, this shit's over, get her done. And so that's what the celebration of Juneteenth commemorates. That used to be a holiday mostly in Texas and Oklahoma, kind of where the Texas territories were. But it's gotten new attention just because Trump was going to hold a rally today, and then they realized it was Juneteenth, and Trump said, you know what? Fine, we'll move it to Saturday. We don't want to step on the toes of the big Juneteenth celebrations in Oklahoma. And now, like I said, there's it's funny. I can't talk. There's Juneteenth celebrations kind of around the country. I know there's always been one here in the Twin Cities since I've lived here. I know there's always been one in Omaha. But I think more people are commemorating it now. I guess what's humorous is now, I don't know if it's humorous or not. It's interesting. I should say interesting, not humorous. There are now those who saying that it should be a national holiday, but we'll see how that goes. Anyway, we'll get into that more after the intro. Johnny, play the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, PDawg Night. And stop the music, ladies and gentlemen. welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, me, Marty, also known as PDawg Night on the internet. It is Juneteenth, yes, June 19th, 2020, and we're in the 355th episode of the Morning Night Live, and I'm so glad that you are here. Hey, let's say good morning to everybody before we get it started. Speaking of Johnny, I mentioned Johnny. Johnny, thanks for playing the intro. But speaking of Johnny, we also have a Johnny who made it here first in the chat. That would be Johnny Hellcat, my first ever viewer on the Morning Night Live, who gets the bell. Also, good morning to CNN Sucks, who just missed it. Johnny Hellcat beat you to the punch, but that's okay. I'm glad you're here too. Also, good morning to Chi-Town J, Paul Belt. Now, it's not a name I recognize, but maybe that's someone changing their name or handle, or they've just been here before and I haven't, that maybe hasn't been around a while. But anyway, also good morning to Amy in Connecticut, Green Thunder to Mighty, Cynical Lindsay, Sean D.W., C. Thomas, good morning, C. Thomas, who says penis every day. Good job. Advocatus Diabli, D.I. Freighter Watcher, Stabbing Joe Scarborough is in the house. Don't hurt anybody with that knife. Also, good morning to Select a Boy.
Yeah, boy.
And also Attack Alpaca, Duck Dog. And I think that's it. So, most importantly, it's Soul Food Month, PDawg Night. Don't eat the chitlins. I'm sorry. Okay, that's one of those soul food items that I just can't eat. One, even no matter how well they're clean and cooked, I think they're gross. And I just, you know what? I talk a lot of shit, but I don't eat it, and I'm not going to take a chance. So there you go. If you're not familiar with chitlins are pig intestines that are clean, and then you deep fry them or you fry them. My dad, when I was a kid, wanted my mom to make chitlins one time, and my mom's like, are you kidding me? I am not even bringing that anywhere near my house because they smell so bad when you get them, and then you clean them and shit. Oh my god, they're just awful. I can't do it. I'll eat, there are things that I will eat that probably some people don't think is appetizing, but chitlins is not one of them. So anyway, while I've been yapping my yap, good morning to W.R. Costin, who was in the chat. Also, Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
And Renee Mayette, Cal Ken L, the Superman's younger cousin. So I'm glad you are all here. Please enjoy the show. Share the show. I know a couple of you already. Let's see. A couple of you did. Thank you, RVA Dar and Cynical Lindsay, for tweeting out the show. Please share the show out on social media. And if you're so kind, hit the like button if you like what we do. I'll remind you often during the show. And then also super chats and donations can be done through the Streamlabs link at pdawgnight.live. It'll be in the chat. It's in the description down below. You can find it if that's your thing. You can become a permanent part of this episode of the Morning Night Live, because I will read those super chats on the show. I know that's exciting, isn't it? Anyway, all right. So now, before I get into what I really wanted to talk about today, or just some of the articles that I had today, one of those TikTok videos popped up. Now, remember Boomer Girl? I'm not even sure if this is her. It kind of looks like her, but she has a video out, a little Boomer Girl video that came to my attention via our friend Sofane, and or whatever. Anyway, that I guess that doesn't really matter because he didn't make the video. But so here's the video, and I'm going to show this to you, and then I'm going to just. What am I gonna do? Do I make comments, or do I let you make comments in the chat and see if that's what I was thinking? I don't know. We'll figure it out after I play this. But here it is. This annoyed me. Annoyed me to no end. Terrence Williams on Twitter video on the Aunt Jemima band. No, but maybe we'll watch that too. Hopefully we'll get caught up in that. I'm going to be easily distracted today. The Aunt Jemima band. You know, the lady that the original Aunt Jemima. They found this woman at a cooking fair or something, and I don't know, but they used one of her recipes and and her likeness as the original Aunt Jemima. Do you know that that woman is one of the first black millionaires in the United States? Just saying, she was a millionaire when she died. Anyway, all right. So this is another one of those cute girls does activism videos. And here it is. It's very short. It's only a few seconds long. And I'll play it once and maybe I'll play it twice just so you can hear what the hell she's saying. Oh, by the way, it is Funky Friday. And I did not forget it was Funky Friday. And I have music queued up for Funky Friday. But I'm going to play this video first. And then we're going to decide or get the Funky Friday going. So here you go. Here it is. Cute girl does politics again.
Black neighborhoods are over-policed, so of course they have higher rates of crime. And white perpetrators are undercharged, so of course they have lower rates of crime. And all of those stupid stats you keep using are operating off a small sample size. So
okay, now, if you didn't catch that, apparently this is a song, not by her probably, talking about how black neighborhoods are over-policed, so of course they have higher rates of crime. Now that's a little bit illogical anyway, but and white neighborhoods are what did she say? Let's listen to it again.
black neighborhoods are over-policed, so of course they have higher rates of crime.
Black neighborhoods are over-policed, so of course they have higher rates of crime. And then?
And white perpetrators are undercharged, so of course they have lower rates of crime.
White perpetrators are undercharged, so of course they have lower rates of crime. This is... oh my goodness.
And all of those stupid stats you keep using...
And all those stupid stats you keep using, and I'm not sure what this means, but...
are operating off a small sample size.
Are operating off of something simple size. I don't know what the fuck she's talking about. But okay, first of all, here's the problem. This is some white liberalism for you. Okay, first of all, the police go where the crime is. And it's not, it's interesting that she says black neighborhoods. Really? Is it black neighborhoods? You know, if you go to Maryland, like say you go to Baltimore, there are some extremely highly affluent black neighborhoods in Baltimore, for example. Are those neighborhoods over-policed? I doubt it. Now, I understand what she's trying to say. What she's trying to say is that because police spend so much time in black neighborhoods, that of course they're going to find more crime. You think the small sample size was her claim? Those stats are nationwide. How are they a small sample? Yeah, okay. Usually, here's the thing. Petty crime, maybe you might see that, but most people aren't talking about stats for petty crime. You know, and I don't care if there's crime. That's where I want the police to be. And when I in particular talk about this topic, I don't talk about necessarily the rate of crime. I'm talking about the rate of victims. Okay. So if you go by victim surveys, because there's certainly numerically, or, you know, I know she says rates of crime. Yeah. Yes, numerically, yeah, of course whites commit more crime. There's a lot more white people. But the problem that I hear has nothing to do with all crime. Okay, usually when I talk about this, I'm talking about who are killing black men, because that's the demographic I'm in. I'm a black man. So when I talk about if I hear the words Black Lives Matter, I want to figure out, okay, well, what's killing black men? And unfortunately, for black men, particularly in the certain age range, the number one cause of death is murder, and not by police. Okay, now, that's not per capita. That's even numerically. Okay, so that's when I talk about this, I go, well, what are we doing about that? How can we change that? And granted, there are certain... Now, here's the other thing that maybe some people don't understand. Even when you talk about murder or property crimes, in the big picture, it's still, even just all murder, as a percentage, it's not common if you think about how many people there are. Let's say there's 40. For example, the black population is about 40 million people, and so you got the 267 or roughly 200 some that are killed by police, and a handful are not justified or for reasons that could have been avoided. And let's say, so about 27, I think it was 2,700 black men were killed by murder last year out of 20 million black men, 40 million people. But it's still, when half of all murders are black men, the victims and the perpetrator, half of all murders. That's the stat that people talk about when we're talking in relation to something like Black Lives Matter. Not the sentiment Black Lives Matter, because that should be a given, even though some people do not believe it is. And those people are people who use the phrase the most. But what are they doing about that? What are they doing about what causes the most deaths? We've tried to reduce auto accidents and disease and things like that, but what are we doing to reduce murder? Half of all murders is what most people are talking about. So when someone says Black Lives Matter because a police officer killed somebody, whether it's justified or not, that's still such a small percentage of all the black lives we lose to murder. Okay? So that's why this video is just pandering to some social scientist who wants to think that over-policing is the reason there's higher rates of crime in certain communities. Now, granted, a lot of those, it also... there's obviously the economic factors, not just black neighborhoods, black neighborhoods. Oh, really? Is that what you think of us? It's just black neighborhoods? Because my house is a black neighborhood. It is, as I live here. And that's an economic thing, though. I'm not in, there's probably higher rates of crime in lower economic areas. And since there are a higher percentage of the black population than others in some of these lower economic areas, that probably is more a factor than over policing. No, the police go where the crimes are. The police they'll if there's an area that has, let's say there's some suburb like mine, 3 rings out from the main city, well, we don't have as many police. We don't have as many crimes. Maybe some property crimes and things like that. But the police go where the crime is, right? Thank you, Johnny Hellcat. with the 357 on episode 355. Johnny Hellcat says, I'm sure this video made her sociologist friends happy. It sure did. And it, boy, the lefties just love it. I have some of the comments here. So let's see. Let's look at some of the comments. Generation Z, the person who posted this, Generation Z is so fucking stupid. Well, I wouldn't say they're stupid. They're good at memorizing stuff, and they probably can do math, kind of, and but they're just a product of what they've learned from other people or what they thought sounded like a good idea. Amazing how people that argue this point don't realize that officers will patrol higher crime areas. For example, if a middle-class community sees a rise in crime, more officers will end up patrolling those areas. Hey, that's a silly idea. It's almost as though common sense is non-existent with some people. Now, this person says it's amazing how these people that argue this point don't realize that more crimes are committed in black neighborhoods as a means of survival. Now, this is one of those comments that shows me that this person who wrote it might be a racist. Okay, listen to this. Amazing how people that argue this point don't realize that more crimes are committed in black neighborhoods as a means of survival because people are so disenfranchised by the system that there is sometimes no other way for them to put food on the table than steal it. That's that's pretty racist if you ask me. That's telling me that black people can't figure out a way other than stealing, and it's okay. Those poor black people have to steal or they will not eat. That's a crazy. Here's the thing. So there's a lot of immigrant communities that also live in low income areas, and yet that culture, sometimes the cultures don't steal, so it's not, I'm not, this is not an argument on proclivities of certain races or cultures. It's not that, but it's a fascinating topic. But anyway, I'm getting away from this shit because it's the kind of stuff that gets me thinking, and when I start thinking, sometimes I get in trouble. All right, let's a couple other people showed up while I've been talking. Good morning, Kingslayer Damocles. Good morning, Katie Did Skate. Good morning, Maniac Man, and Richard Cranium, and Amy in Connecticut, and Kesler. What's happening, y'all? Glad you're here. All right, let's get out of this stuff because it's Twitter cringe is always kind of fun, but it could also be a little frustrating. Anyway, the big news of the day that people will be talking about big time tomorrow, especially the Trump rally in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which was moved from today in honor of Juneteenth. So they're doing it on June 20th. So apparently, now the picture in my thumbnail was an example of this, and I said ramping up. Apparently, starting yesterday, Trump supporters have already been lining up to get in this rally. This is kind of crazy. I mean, it's funny. They had, apparently the number of requests for the Tulsa rally was over 1 million people have requested, I guess, tickets or entry, whatever. I don't even know what kind of an arena they're having this in Tulsa. It's almost like maybe they should have it in, outdoors, open air, but then there's a lot of crazy out there. Good morning, Jaeger Pony and Tyler F, by the way. So over 100 supporters line up early for Saturday rally in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Supporters of President Donald Trump this week lined up well in advance of his Oklahoma campaign rally scheduled for Saturday. Supporters they began forming on Monday. Monday for a Saturday rally outside the BLK Center in Tulsa, according to videos filmed of the line on Twitter and local news reports. The man first in line said he was from Massachusetts, and he arrived Monday at 2:30 a.m. And this is let's see. There's an excitement in Tulsa about the Donald Trump rally. The first person in line showed up 2:30 a.m. Monday, an all-time record, and 100 plus in line. Now that's on. That's crazy. By Wednesday, there were over 100 people. Some angry motorists passing the site yelled at a group of supporters, including people. Yelled at the group of supporters, according to people in the line who spoke to USA Today. I've had a couple black people come by and scream at us, "Black Lives Matter." We said, "Yeah, they do," one woman said. "Us Trump people, we love everybody. We're not just about rioting and tearing things up." Shots fired. Oh, man. A group of musicians entertained the crowd by singing a pro-Trump campaign song. Oh, my God. Is this... Okay, look, I apologize in advance for this, because this might be cringy too, or maybe it won't. We'll see. We're going to hit play though. By the way, I do have my cup of reparations coffee. Oh, by the way, okay, I said that. I forgot Funky Friday already. Hello, Jay Decker. How you doing? All right, this may or may not be good, but I'm going to play it anyway. I'm going to take a chance just for you. This is how much I care. Let's hear this.
4 years, come on everybody, 4 years, come on everybody, 4 years. Woo! There'll be another USA, freedom won't come back. Give it away. Time to vote, it's time to pray. Join everyone, let me hear you say, go Trump, 2020, go Trump, 2020, go Trump, 2020, go Trump. Keep America great. Keep America great.
Okay. Okay, I gotta be honest. I was expecting that to be way more cringy. I was thinking, what are those? What are they called? The Trump choir, whatever, those people that do the kind of country-ish song. That was actually pretty good. I thought it was going to be terrible, and no, that was actually pretty good. I mean, I don't care about campaign songs and stuff, but as far as musically and whatnot, that was not bad at all. Real quick, a couple more people showed up in the chat. Good morning, MC.
Hammer time.
Always had hammer time. Good morning, Balin Bobby, JC Wolf. Let's see. Jay Decker, how you doing? Let's see who else. There's a couple names I didn't even recognize. I'd never seen before. If you're new here, by the way, hit the subscribe button and make sure you click that bell so you get notifications. Or you can just follow me on Twitter, Minds and Gab, down there in the lower right-hand corner of your screen there. It wasn't awful. Okay, I was expecting awful, and so. It's just, are they Mormons? I don't know. I don't know if they're Mormons. How would I know? You know what? I don't do the purity test. Good morning, Gorilla Pirate Pete too. So I was expecting that to be a lot worse. Anyway, the rally is scheduled for Saturday, which is tomorrow. It's the president's first campaign rally since March. Other news about that. The National Guard soldiers have been activated for the Trump rally in Tulsa. The Oklahoma National Guard is activating up to 250 soldiers to help provide security during the President Trump's campaign rally on Saturday in Tulsa, authorities said Wednesday. The Guardsmen will be used as a force multiplier to help state and local police secure safety zones around the downtown BOK Center, where the rally will be held, Tulsa Police Chief Wendell Franklin said, according to the Washington Times. The Guardsmen will be unarmed, but will carry shields, batons, and pepper spray in case they need to protect themselves, said Guard spokesman Lieutenant Colonel Jeff Lager. And Trump had originally scheduled the campaign rally on Friday, June 19th, which is known as Juneteenth, the day to commemorate the first time slaves in Texas were told about the Emancipation Proclamation. Trump moved the date after outcry from critics. Well, they're still having an outcry, but he said, fuck it, we're still doing it the next day. But his rally will still coincide with a 2-day Juneteenth celebration, Friday and Saturday, in the Greenwood District district near downtown. Several anti-Trump protests are also planned for Saturday. This is going to be interesting because is this going to get into like that, how the Trump rallies sometimes happen in other places where there's a bunch of people trying to fuck with the Trump people. Anyway, an Oklahoma judge on Wednesday denied a request that would have forced Trump to cancel the campaign rally. Two residents who claim they are immunocompromised joined with two Tulsa organizations, the Greenwood Cultural Center and the John Hope Franklin Center for Reconciliation, to file a suit against ASM Global, the management company at the BOK Center. I'm going to pause just for a second. Johnny Hellcat with the $5.99 super chat. Which one was that? I got to play it again because I don't remember which one that is. Oh, that's the yes, the Chippendale dancer alert. That's one of my favorites. Johnny Hellcat with $5.99. Definitely cringe, but on the level, it's honestly not as bad as I got a crush on Obama. But it's true what they say. True cringe doesn't have a color. That's a good, yes. Thank you, Johnny Hellcat. What the hell happened there? There's no noise. Am I still on? I didn't hear the... Well, I'll be damned. Well, it's probably going to show up later. Anyway. So these two groups tried to get this blocked. One was two residents who claim they're Oh, there we go. There, that's for Johnny Hellcat. What the hell is going on there? Thank you, Johnny Hellcat. They appreciated your comment there. So two residents who claim they're immunocompromised, two organizations, the Greenwood Cultural Center and the John Hope Franklin Center for Reconciliation, filed a suit against ASM Global, the management company of the BOK Center, where the rally is scheduled to be held. You know, it's funny. Here's my thing. If the two residents who are immunocompromised, I got an idea. Don't go to the rally if you're worried about your immune system. They demanded, not requested, not asked with niceties and sugar and flowers, but they demanded that Trump be barred from holding the rally until event organizers outlined how social distancing measures would be employed to help stem the spread of coronavirus, and alleged that the rally would lead to dramatic spikes in COVID-19. Quote, if ASM Global moves forward with the event, without adequate review, planning, training, protective equipment, and safeguards, cases of COVID-19 and the unavoidable attendant deaths will rise, the complaint said. The judge denied the complainant's request that rally-goers wear mandatory face masks and practice other social distancing requirements. Megan Blood, spokesman for the BOK Center, told Politico that the venue would adhere to the state's regulation for events. Oklahoma currently lets business owners set their own social distancing rules. Government officials have advised that the campaign rally is planned is consistent with the guidelines for the hours open up and recover safely plan for entertainment venues. However, in the event that the governing authorities impose new restrictions, we will notify the event organizers immediately, Blood said in a statement to Politico. Apparently all the rally attendees are going to undergo temperature checks and receive free face mask and hand sanitizer before entering the venue. I knew it. I know what they're going to do. They're going to give everybody either a MAGA or a CAG face mask red face masks with MAGA across the front? I bet that's what they're going to do. Okay, guys, I forgot to turn the music on. It is Funky Friday, and here we go. Now, this is more, this has a more 70s, old school, laid back, funky feel to it. But as you go through, you're going to hear some different iterations of the music on Funky Friday. And I'm so glad that you're all here. You know, we got, let's see how many, we got 38 people in the chat, in the room today so far, and only 13 likes. Let's fix that. Give that, remember the 70s, they had the dance called the bump? You do the bump, you'd kind of bump hips. Well, why don't you do a little bump with that like button? That would be great. Do that right now. All right, let's continue on. Let's see here. What else do I got? Oh, there's a little bit of confusion in Tulsa, however, because the mayor issues a curfew as Trump supporters gather for the upcoming rally. Is that music a little loud? I gotta turn that down. Hang on a second here. Or is it just me? Is it my headphones? No, it's not really my headphones. I think the music's a little too loud. Here, let me fix that real quick. Well, not that much. You know, this is so sensitive. That should be better. There we go. Okay. So, there is confusion in Tulsa. The mayor issues a curfew as Trump supporters gather for upcoming rally. What? What? The mayor did what? Confusion descended upon downtown Tulsa on Thursday evening after the mayor issued a curfew for the area surrounding the BOK Center, where Trump supporters have already begun gathering in anticipation of Saturday's rally. Now that is fascinating. A curfew for just around the BOK Center? Huh. Tulsa Mayor G.T. Bynum. You know, that's weird. I've never seen anybody else with the name GT. That's my son's name. G.T. Bynum sounds like P.T. Barnum, doesn't it? Because he's a clown, but he's a Republican. He's a Republican. Mayor G.T. Bynum signed an executive order instituting a 10 p.m. curfew for the area around the Bank of Oklahoma Center, which is also known as the BOK Center, where the president's rally is set to take place. As a part of our preparations for President Trump's rally this Saturday, we are working on making the area secure for everyone's safety, the Tulsa Police Department said in a statement posted on social media late Thursday. In an effort to start clearing the area, Mayor G.T. Bynum has signed an executive order 2020-11, which places a curfew for the area in the map, the statement continued. The curfew went into effect at 10 p.m. and will remain in effect until 6 a.m. Saturday. After the rally, there is a continued curfew from Saturday, June 20th, 2020 until 6 a.m. on Sunday, June 21st, the police department said. As mayor, I have received information from the Tulsa Police Department and other law enforcement agencies that shows that individuals from organized groups who have been involved in destructive or violent behavior in other states are planning to travel to the city of Tulsa for purposes of causing unrest in and around the rally, the order states. Now that would not surprise me at all. I am not. Is anyone in the chat shocked by that? Oh my goodness. Anyway, per the order, number 1, people are prohibited from walking, running, loitering, standing, or motoring upon any alley, street, highway, public property, sidewalk, or vacant premises within the boundaries indicated above, except for official designated duty in response to the emergency, providing public safety services are going to and from a place of residence or work. Number 2, the manufacture, transfer, use, or possession of transportation of a Molotov cocktail or any other device, instrument, or object designed to explode or produce uncontained combustion is prohibited within the limits of the city of Tulsa. I thought Molotov cocktails were already illegal. Anyway, And number 3, transporting, possessing, or using of gasoline, kerosene, or combustible, flammable, or explosive liquids or materials in a glass or uncapped container of any kind is prohibited within the limits of the city of Oklahoma, also known as a Molotov cocktail, except in connection with the normal operation of motor vehicles, normal home use, or legitimate commercial use. Breitbart's News' Matt Purdy was on the scene in Tulsa and confirmed that there is indeed a curfew, but said it is not currently being enforced. There is a curfew, but it's not being enforced on these guys as long as they are behaving, essentially as long as they are not causing any trouble, Purdy said, noting that the situation could change. There's going to be a shift change, at which point there could be a different action potentially, but right now it's not being enforced. Tulsa Police Department said in its official statement, stated that people who refuse to leave the area may be cited and arrested. Now, that's interesting because there's already people lined up for the rally. So that's very interesting. We understand that many people are unaware of the curfew, unaware that the curfew will be in place, and barricades are still in the process of being set up. If we find anyone in violation of the executive order this evening, we will request that they leave the area based on the curfew. The department has also updated the post, claiming that individuals camping in front of the BOK are being moved. Okay, so are they interesting? So they're saying that they're moving people that are around that area. That's very interesting. I'm not really sure what's going on. John Smith, good morning. I didn't see you there. Did I already say hi to Jay Decker? I think I did. Yes, I did. Okay. I support the curfew because anti will start riots. I would not be shocked at all. I think they're look. This I don't know why when this rally was being planned and they got so many requests for people to be able to go there. Good morning, Gamer Valine. Also, how you doing? John Smith, good morning. I said it already. So they have word that people are going to be coming in from all over the country. Look, the first person in line for the rally supporter was from Massachusetts. You don't think people who want to come and cause havoc aren't also coming in from all over the country? It doesn't shock me at all that they have this information. Looks like they have the entire executive order here. Let's see here. Let's try this. And it won't let me open that for some reason. Anyway. Yeah, not a shocker. All right, moving on. Apparently there's a poll out that says the polls put or not a poll out. The polls are putting Democrats in a trap of their own making. Can you see that okay? I should fix that anyway. Remember the heady days of June 2016 when Hillary Clinton led Donald Trump in every one of 12 major polls by a margin of 10 points, according to ABC and the Washington Post? Or August 2016, after the Khan imbroglio, when Clinton was beating Trump by 7 points, according to US Today and Suffolk. It was hardly an outlier. Or October 2016, after the exposition of the Billy Bush tapes, when coming up on the election, Clinton was beating Trump in virtually every poll. Of the 78 polls started after September 21, 2016, 73 of the 78 had Clinton winning, 4 had Trump winning, and 1 was a tie. At the time, it was said in 2 articles that Trump would be the 45th, at that time, this is somebody named Michael Hammond. I said in 2 articles that Trump would be the 45th president of the United States, and I explained why. Now, in June 2020, the same press court has pronounced the Trump presidency dead, has held the funeral, and has lowered the coffin into the grave. The problem? There's no corpse. That's kind of funny. The 6% rule in 2016, I predicted that Trump could lose the popular vote by as much as 4% and still win the Electoral College. This is because roughly 4 million Democrat voters in California, New York, and Illinois are in excess of the plurality needed to win those states. The difference between winning California by 50.1% and winning by 99% is meaningless in a presidential election. In fact, Trump lost the popular vote by 2.1% in 2016, but won the Electoral College 304 to 227. In June 2020, you can add an additional 2% to the margin by which Trump can be losing in the polls without being behind in the presidential race, for a total of 6% in the case of national polling. The reason is that in late summer or early fall, pollster samples will shift from registered voters to likely voters. This will give Trump an almost 2% bump. The bottom line, if Donald Trump is less than 6% behind in national polls, he is probably leading the presidential race, even if you ignore the methodological problems with the polls. And while the battleground state polls aren't governed by electoral college dynamics, most of them are reduced to margin of error once the 2% bump is taken into account. By these metrics, Trump was on course to re-win the presidency in every major poll in March. The polls themselves, what does that say that the polls... what does it say the polls have shifted in the last month? Well, polls have not proven particularly reliable in matters relating to Donald Trump, but some are unreliabler. Yes, that's what he wrote. Unreliabler than others. For example, CNN this past week, the Trump campaign demanded that CNN retract its outlier poll purporting to show that Trump trailed Biden by 14%. It claimed the poll's sampling included too few Republicans, and the timing of the poll was intended to maximize the impact of bad news and minimize the effect of good news, so much as better than expected employment numbers. The deliberate timing issue was particularly significant in skewing the results of the erroneous polls in 2016. Also, that particular poll, that wasn't even, it's hilarious, that poll was not even, it wasn't likely voters. It wasn't registered voters. It was a poll of all adults, which is probably the least reliable poll of this type. Anyway, the critique of CNN's methodology was done with the assistance of polling firm McLaughlin and Associates. It was probably well taken with respect to both methodology and intention of the pollster. That's funny. Anyway, it just goes through some other polls that are wrong, or not wrong, but just the different polls. I'll just, you know what, I'm going to put the rest of this one in the chat. If you want to read it, you can read this on your own time. Right-click that, and you can check out that article. All right, moving on. Team Trump pushes for more debates. Yes, this is this is something that the DNC and Biden would like to avoid altogether if they could, but I don't think they're going to be able to. Team Trump pushes for extra debate. Biden campaign responds unfavorably. Why am I? Oh, there we go. Trump campaign urged the Presidential Debate Commission on Thursday to host 4 debates in the upcoming presidential election season, reportedly also asking the commission to host the first debate soon after Labor Day. According to the New York Times, 3 Trump affiliates attended the virtual meeting, including Rudy Giuliani, the president's personal attorney, and campaign manager Brad Parscale, who told the news organization that the campaign was looking for fair debates and wanted them to occur sooner and on a bigger schedule. As many Americans as possible need to see the stark differences between the accomplishments and leadership of President Trump and the failed record and sleepiness of Joe Biden, said Parscale. The Trump campaign also reportedly requested to share influence with the Biden campaign over who would serve as the debate moderator for each event, a move the debate commission has rejected, according to the Washington Post. Because the debate commission and the news people all want Biden cheerleaders to do the debates. Anyway, Kate Bedingfield, deputy campaign manager for Biden, suggested the Times in a statement that the Trump campaign was trying to change the subject to debates as a way of distracting from unfavorable polling. Well, you know, that would be something to debate too, wouldn't it? But here's the catch. He'll only do it if he can pick the moderator, said Bedingfield. We are not going to ride the roller coaster of ever-changing Trump campaign positions on debates, nor are we going to be distracted by his demands. Well. we also don't want to make sure you can't hide Biden forever. Hello, X-Bub Hotep. What's going on? And Gunfox 61 is in the house. The Post reports that the Trump campaign also requested that no debates be held on the same evenings as NFL games, a reference to the 2016 election when 2 of the 3 presidential debates were scheduled alongside football games. Yeah, they were trying to hide a little bit there too. Then, when the Trump campaign raised concerns back in the summer of 2016, the commission pushed back against the idea it would reschedule the debates. It's impossible to avoid all sporting events, and there have been nights on which debates and games occurred in most election cycles. A debate has never been rescheduled as a result. As a point of reference, in a 4-year period, there are 4 general election debates, 3 presidential and 1 vice presidential, and approximately 1,000 NFL games at the commission. Well, yeah, but a vast majority of those games are at, well, I'll use East Coast time, are at 11 and 2. And they scheduled what was it? It was a game. The Sunday night game was probably more interesting than the debate anyway back in 2016. But anyway, a Fox News polls released Thursday afternoon shows Biden leading Trump by 12 points, an increase of 4 points since the poll was conducted last month. 63% of those who plan to vote for Biden cited the fear of Trump winning re-election as their biggest motivator. Only 31% of people who plan to vote for Biden indicated they were motivated by excitement for the candidate itself. Yeah, his enthusiasm numbers aren't even anywhere near Trump's. The voter enthusiasm for Trump, for people who are planning on voting for Trump, is through the roof, and Biden's very little. All right, enough of that. Let's see what else. I thought this was interesting. This is Dr. Robert Epstein. On election day, Mark Zuckerberg can give one presidential candidate 450,000 votes. I didn't even read this yet, but I just go, what? Just curious? I don't know. Dr. Robert Epstein, the senior research psychologist at the American Institute for Behavioral Research and Technology, joined Breitbart News senior editor-at-large Rebecca Mansour on SiriusXM's Breitbart News Tonight recently to discuss the masters of the universe in Silicon Valley and how they can manipulate news narratives and even elections. Dr. Epstein pointed out the tremendous power that Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg wields in the 2020 election. Well, let's read. Let's find out. During an interview with Breitbart CDD. Okay, why are you repeating this? They repeated the same damn thing. Let's get into what he said, though. So they discussed the growing influence the tech giants hold over the media and elections in both America and around the world, discussing Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg's recent promise to urge Facebook users to register to vote on Election Day. Dr. Epstein outlined how Facebook could massively influence elections, saying, let's say they use an app to contact lots and lots of people, all kinds of people across the board. Let's say all eligible voters in the U.S. to register to vote. In fact, that's one of the things that Zuckerberg says. It sounds good on the surface, except here's the problem. You don't know whether Facebook is reaching out equally to everyone or they're reaching out in a way that favors one political party. There's no way to know it, and I can guarantee you that they are definitely favoring one party when they launch a register to vote campaign. The conversation then turned to a number of voters that Facebook could influence towards a single candidate on election day itself, solely by sending out a go vote reminder. Mansour asked Dr. Epstein how many votes he estimated could be manipulated by Facebook, to which he replied, on election day itself, Zuckerberg could easily give one presidential candidate an additional 450,000 votes, with no one knowing that he's doing it. In other words, he could send out that go vote reminder mainly to people who lean in one direction politically. How would you know that he's doing that? Scary thought, isn't it? Anyway. All right, let's see. I have a vote by mail article here too, but I think I'm going to skip it. Well, maybe not. Let's see what this says. Vote by mail, turning the clock backwards. Concerns about corruption in voting are not a new phenomenon. During the Constitutional Convention of 1787, James Madison worried about the abuses that might occur under the new Constitution. Our federal system I gotta do my best James Madison voice. Our federal system of government is predicated on the faith that a citizen, adequately informed and unmolested, is incapable of judging who is best fit to govern our country. The U.S. Constitution stipulates the times, places, and manner of holding elections for senators and representatives shall be prescribed in each state by the legislature thereof. But the Congress may at any time, by law, make or alter such regulations. Over time, what has developed in the United States is a system of voting protecting both the legitimacy of the election and the privacy rights of the voter from outside interference. Without these two components, we would have no fair, stable system of elections. All would descend into chaos of corruption. Today, using the coronavirus as an excuse, the Democrats seek to abolish how we conduct elections in the United States. Our current system of voting came into being as a result of a great progressive reform movement in the latter part of the 19th century and early 20th century. Ardent progressive reformers like the socialist Henry George in 1886 strove to prevent corruption in the electoral process. The progressive reformers championed the system of voting by an official ballot printed at public expense by a neutral authority. Previously, political parties had printed their own ballots, and ward bosses paid people to vote for their candidates, stuff ballots, and vote repeatedly. And nothing's changed in California, Chicago, but I digress. The system was intimidating and enormously corrupt. A supervisory public authority was necessary to monitor balloting, ensure fairness, and provide the necessary element of voter secrecy. It also sounds like union ballots. Just saying, I've been involved in some union elections. It's weird. Anyway, the new structure of reform is called the Australian ballot, named from its place of origin. Oh, that's the timer there. Specifies that a citizen coming to the poll be registered to vote and identified. At the poll, he gives his name and address. He receives an official ballot, marks it in secrecy of a booth, and hands it in to be counted. That sounds like how it should be. That's kind of worked okay. Additional laws were passed protecting the voter from solicitation at the polls. Those laws still survive today. Wardens at voting places acting on laws regulated by the local Secretary of State, keeping those soliciting votes at least 100 feet away from voters when they enter the polling place. Massachusetts was the first state to adopt the secret ballot in 1888. By 1896, almost 90% of states had adopted it. The secret ballot is largely credited with rooting out the worst forms of voter fraud and intimidation. Later, voting machines came into being, which eliminated the paper ballot but ensured the same secrecy protections were kept with a curtain on the voting machine. Now, I don't like voting machines. Just machines where you touch screen voting machines. Don't like it. Now, in Minnesota, we still use paper ballots that you have to fill in the little dots and things like that. And then they're run through vote counting scanners. I don't mind that because you can always go back and count the paper ballots if there are any discrepancies. I'm not a fan of the voting machines. I'm just not. I know, you can tell me in the chat what you think. I personally just prefer the paper ballots. But anyway, the corruption of the old political machine politics, boss, has ended. But the Democratic Party today seeks to bring back Tammany Hall by a procedure called vote by mail, which takes away voter privacy and mails millions of ballots, often to those no longer living at the address the ballot is mailed to. Yeah, you could just figure out all the people who've died in the last year and they're still going to get a ballot, and then someone can go harvest those ballots. One should not confuse vote by mail with voting by absentee ballot. Absentee balloting is an older established regulated process that is used in extraordinary circumstances for illness or absence when the voter cannot appear at the poll. Ballots are requested by the voter, are registered and required a signature certification by the voter. let's see. Okay, there's not much more. Now, there has been some corruption in absentee balloting. The most secure method of voting is to vote in person at the poll. Vote by mail, which the Democrats are advocating nationally, is an irresponsible, unregulated system that seeks to mail ballots to every address in the country from inaccurate, unpurged voter rolls, regardless of whether the person at the address is living, currently registered to vote, or are even citizens. Critics point out that ballots delivered to a wrong address or to someone who moved would be piled up in hallways for anyone to pick up and tamper with. Vote by mail then allows the ballots mailed to be collected by unregulated political activists who are entrusted to bring them to election places to be counted. What happens along the way to these ballots is left to the horror of one's imagination. Or they might end up in a truck, or the trunk of a... What was that? It happened in Minnesota where when Al Franken was elected, they, after it's over and it was a pretty close race, and they found a car that had just a shit ton of ballots in the trunk that weren't ever counted. Oh my God. Anyway, the other part of this, people collecting the ballots, what happens along the way these ballots is left to the horrors of one's imagination. There are no identity checks anywhere in the vote-by-mail scheme. Its unsecure procedures encourage tampering and ballot fraud on a massive scale. In the recent midterm 2018 elections, Republicans in the state of California were winning on election night in 7 congressional districts. But the vote-harvested ballots allowed by vote-by-mail overturned the election results, giving all 7 seats to Democrats. Yeah, ballot harvesting is legal in California, and what they do is they send all their operatives out to they go out and basically go door to door and harvest ballots at addresses that they have. But like in some cases, for example, they don't go and get the ballots of everybody in the household. They get the ballots of the people who they think are voting for their side, and they bring those in. So, for example, let's say one of these cute boomer girls who make the videos like the one we saw earlier in the show, let's say that she lives at an address with her parents. And her parents are staunch right-wing nutjob Republicans, right? That's me being facetious. But she also lives at that address. Well, the ballot harvesters will come to that address, and they will specifically ask for her because she's registered as a Democrat. And they'll go, hey, did you get that vote in the mail thing, that little ballot thingy? And she'll go, oh, yes, I did. Can we get yours? But shh, don't tell your parents, because we don't want them, because they're right-wing Republican nutjobs. And there you go. That's what happens. Oh, we got my favorite shake weight alert from ex-Bubba Hotep with the 2222, who says, I mean, who has ever had their mail lost or damaged? Now imagine someone with intent. Yeah, fuckers, they'll come and collect. I don't trust it at all. I don't trust that system at all. Thank you so much, ex-Bubba Hotep, for the very generous donation. And hey, just for people who want to see that alert again, because it just cracks me up every time I see it. Ah, yes, the little shake weight girl. There you go. All right. By the way, there are 2 other shake weight alerts for anyone who's interested. You can find that out. Anyway, so yeah, this is all about vote by mail. Vote by mail is just a sham. All right, real quick before I move on, I'd like to do my shill of the day. Hi, I'm PDawg Knight, also known as Marty, but PDawg Knight on the internet, sometimes known as Lawyer Dog, PDawg, that big dude in Minnesota and whatever they call me. Anyway, if you like what you're seeing today on the Morning Night Live, hey, support the show. You are the sponsors of the show. You make the show happen, and I appreciate everything that you all do. One of those things that you can do to help the show is share this stream, this video, whatever this is, when you're watching it. Hit that arrow below the screen down here somewhere, wherever it's, I don't know, somewhere down there. I don't know. I can't tell when I'm looking at the screen. Hit that arrow that says share and share it out on your favorite social media. Or you can follow me on Twitter, Minds and Gab, which I know is right there. And you can retweet, repost, or republish what I post. That would be great. And then if you like what we're doing, hit the like button. We got 43 some people in here and 19 likes. If you like what we're doing, just give a good hip check to that like button. And then if you'd like to be a permanent part of the show, like Johnny Hellcat and Ex Bubba Hotep, throw something in the tip jar. It can be as little as $2, but I will read your super chats also. So that's where we do the super chats until I get 1,000 subscribers. Help a brother out. We need some 1,000 subscribers so that I can do regular super chats from YouTube. Not that I really want to. I like the Streamlabs one. It's a pretty good system. But that will also help me do my July stream on the road. Yes, Lady Boomer and I are doing the show from the road. All right. Let's move on. Do I have time for one more article? By the way, I got a couple quickies here. One, Amy Klobuchar has decided to remove her name from contention. I'm so, oh, Amy Klobuchar is dropping out of contention for vice president. Our senator from Minnesota is not going to be the vice president. Oh, I was hoping so badly that never mind. Anyway, black people don't like her anymore because she let Derek Chauvin go once, and they say fuck her, she's canceled. Okay, on Thursday on MSNBC, The Last Word, Amy Klobuchar stated the 2020 Democratic presidential candidate, former Vice President Joe Biden, should pick a woman of color to be his vice president. And also said that she told him during the call with him that took place on Wednesday night that this is a moment that he should pick a woman of color as his running mate. This is the moment. There's got to be a moment song. I can't think of a moment song to throw in here just as a goofy aside, so I guess I won't. Anyway, Klobuchar said, I have never, as you probably know, on many, many shows since I endorsed the vice president on that joyful night in Dallas, I've never commented on this process at all. But let me tell you this. After what I've seen in my state, what I've seen across the country, this is a historic moment, and America must seize on this moment. And I truly believe, as I actually told the vice president last night when I called him, that I think this is a moment to put a woman of color on the ticket. Wait a minute. Doesn't that kind of leave out Senator Warren? Well, wait, no, she's a woman of color. No. Oh, this magic moment, dun, 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 when I see you close to mine, forever till the end of time. Okay, that's a song that would work. Good. All right, very, very, very well done there, Grillet Pirate Pete. Anyway, Klobuchar had no chance of being the vice presidential pick, and unfortunately, look, some people think it's going to be Kamala Harris. Like I said, I will be so happy if his choice is Kamala Harris, because I will make that commercial. Joe Biden wrote the 1994 crime bill. Kamala Harris enforced the 1994 crime bill. Biden-Harris, keeping brothers in jail since 1994. And even Val Demings from Florida. She was a former police officer. Oh, good choice right now, Joe. Please pick one of those two. Anyway, yeah, she needs to Amy in Connecticut says she needs to take her salad and her comb and go sit in the corner. Hell yes, salad comb lady, wine mom. She's terrible. I didn't like her when she was our attorney general either. Anyway, let's see. Trump Derangement Syndrome Support Group House candidate for Pennsylvania, comes out shooting at a new ad. We'll just watch the ad. I haven't seen it. I don't even know if I'm going to get in trouble for this, but let's see this one. This is okay. Here we go. Oh, come on. There we go.
Hi, I'm Sean Parnell, combat veteran and third-generation Pennsylvania native. I'm running for Congress, and here's why. I'm old enough to remember when the House of Representatives functioned as a legislative body, not a Trump derangement syndrome support group. Do you really think Nancy Pelosi has your best interest in mind? She spent a global pandemic impeaching our president, holding up stimulus for unemployed Americans, and eating gourmet ice cream in her mansion. Not cool, Nancy. Not cool. So how does Nancy get away with this? With the help of her socialism squad in the U.S. House.
Oh my goodness.
And Nancy Pelosi's biggest supporter is my opponent, Connor Lamb. Connor became Pelosi's little lamb the moment he got to Washington. He voted against the Born Alive Act, for the job-killing Paris Climate Accords. He voted to impeach our president. Has an F rating from the NRA. In fact, Lamb votes with Pelosi
goodness, he is going
over 90% of the time. I'm no shepherd, but I can tell you that that's bad. Lamb supports Joe Biden, who wants to put AOC in charge of Pennsylvania's energy jobs. That's like putting Bill Clinton in charge of your intern program.
Oh my God!
To never tell you what ethnicity you are.
This dude's shooting
how you vote.
a bazooka.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
Yikes.
Oh
I believe
my
we have
God.
a duty as Americans to demand better from our elected officials. And duty is something that I know about. You might
How much
even
is
say
left?
it with
This is only okay. This is
Sure.
only half over, but I am. He's pulling out all the arrows. Thank you, X Bubba Hotep, with the $4.99. If Kamala ends up being VP, I will share Tulsi smacking her. I will share what? Tulsi. I will share Tulsi smacking her down during the debate every day. Oh hell yes, Tulsi ruined Kamala Harris, and you know what? In fact, that could be a Trump campaign ad. Shh, I didn't say that out loud. I did not say that out loud. I did not say that. All right, let's continue with this ad with Sean.
Got a Purple Heart, 2 Bronze Stars, 1 for Valor. But what I really received in fighting for this country is a deep appreciation for just how damn important our freedom is. Like the freedom to own one of these babies. And I can tell you from experience, these things come in handy when you come face to face with a bad guy. Send me to Washington and I'll grow our economy, protect Pennsylvania's energy industry, cut our taxes, and serve our veterans. Heck, I might even work with our president instead of impeaching him.
Can I share the video link in the chat? I will put that in the chat.
Yep. Neil
Oh,
gets it.
I missed
Isn't
that.
The time what? Wouldn't you like that, Neil? Yep. Neil gets it. Isn't it time Western PA had a leader with some backbone?
Holy shit.
Do you really want America to become a socialist country? This crazy old socialist was almost the Democrat nominee.
Oh my God. Okay, that was it. If you didn't see the picture, I'm gonna roll that back so you can see the picture he used here.
Socialist country. This
Look at the
crazy old
picture.
Socialist was
Oh my gosh, this guy's
almost
hilarious.
the Democrat nominee. Instead of tearing up this administration's accomplishments, let's tear up Pelosi's speakership and put this little lamb out to pasture. I'm Sean Parnell, and that's why I'm running for Congress. So donate $1 today, or heck,
Okay.
donate more than $1, and let's send a lion to Congress and not a lamb.
All right, Sean Parnell. He gets points. He gets meme points for that one. That one's actually pretty funny. Let me see if I can. Let me put this in the chat for you here. Okay, so I'm putting the whole article here. This is the Daily Caller article. There we go. Who was that? It's the actor from Curb Your Enthusiasm. Is not Larry David? Is that his name? I'm not sure, but anyway, that's pretty funny. That is funny. Okay, so yeah, I'm glad I just went through that real quick. Last couple of quick hitters. Elizabeth Warren pulls support for Amy McGrath and endorses her primary opponent. Well, apparently, so Amy McGrath is running for the Senate in the state of Kentucky. They're trying to get rid of Mitch McConnell. And I'm not sure, but she's starting to lose support. And there's this I hate to use the term social justice warrior, that's so cliche, but just kind of a left-wing social democrat type that's also running in the primary in Kentucky. And so apparently Elizabeth Warren decided to endorse him instead. Senator Elizabeth Warren rescinded an endorsement to Kentucky Democratic Senate candidate Amy McGrath on Thursday, instead backing progressive state legislator Charles Booker. Warren expressed support for McGrath in a July 2019 tweet, calling the failed congressional candidate a real fighter who's inspired us in 2018. Whatever. Wait, what? John Smith, what happened? Okay, I'm not sure what happened. What happened with John Smith here? Okay, I'm going to figure that out later. Someone, Tyler, send me a direct message if you can. Okay, so, or did you do that on accident? Are you able to, was that an accident, Tyler? Or anyway, so Warren joined a slew of national progressives throwing their support behind Booker, who has risen in the polls despite the $22 million that McGrath has spent on the primary to challenge Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. Sorry, all didn't do to that. Okay, here we go. Let's see here. Okay. Oh, he hit the button by accident. That was an accident, John Smith. Sorry that happened. It was not on purpose. We'll figure that out later. All right. We'll get you back. Anyway, endorsements have rolled in for Booker in recent days. The Kentucky Democrat is now backed by Warren, Senator Bernie Sanders, and progressive reps Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Ayanna Pressley. So he has if he wins that, my God, if he wins the nomination for Democrats in Kentucky, do you think he has a chance against Mitch McConnell with those people endorsing him? I mean, no matter, oh my God. Anyway. All right. Anyway. And then also, let's see. No, that's not the one I want. They're trying to push DC statehood again. That's a tough one to hoe because you gotta change the Constitution for that. That may be a challenge. And then also, Democrats, the Justice Democrats are also gets a big money boost against top Democrat Elliot Engel. They're trying to take down Democrats. Jamal Brown receives more than $500,000 from Justice Democrats in New York. Let's see. Justice Democrats PAC dropped nearly $1 million in support of Jamal Bowman, a primary challenge to top Democratic Representative Elliot Engel, New York. So kind of like what happened with AOC and John, I think it's John Conley, was that his name? They're doing to Elliot Engel. Bowman is receiving major support from well-endowed liberal. So we know that. That's too much information. No, from well-endowed liberal sources ahead of the June 23rd primary in New York, 16th Congressional District. The Justice Democrats PAC, which previously supported Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, successful 2018 primary challenge against another top congressional Democrat, spent $920,000 on media buys against Engel. Bowman is also endorsed by the Working Families Party, which received significant donations this cycle from a handful of Democratic mega donors, including George Soros. They're really trying to get grow the squad. Just telling you, that is something I would be worried about. And then finally, sad news. The coroner says preliminary findings reached in death of Carol Barr, wife of GOP Congressman Andy Barr. Fayette County Coroner's Office has reached preliminary findings in the death of Carol Barr, the 39-year-old wife of Congressman Andy Barr, who passed away unexpectedly on Tuesday at their family home in Lexington, Kentucky. The Coroner's Office announced on Wednesday that Barr died of mitral valve prolapse, reports the New York Times, of the preliminary findings. This condition, which is typically not serious, is characterized by the inability of either one or both of the mitral valves to close smoothly. When the heart pumps, contracts, part of one of both flaps collapse backwards into the left atrium, reads the digital handout from the American Heart Association, which notes that the condition affects up to 2% of the population, but can lead to a heart attack or stroke when a significant valve leakage occurs. So kind of sad. His wife passed away suddenly. Very sad news. Prayers for his family. All right, let's get back into the Twitter trends today. We'll hit the Explore tab. At the top, more protests, updates, demonstrations planned across the U.S. to mark Juneteenth. Demonstrations across the U.S. which began a response to police violence in the May 25th death of George Floyd have evolved into a global movement against systemic racism. Read on for the latest news and updates. So it's going to be a lot of Juneteenth celebrations, calls to make Juneteenth a U.S. holiday. Kentucky Attorney General Breonna Taylor let's just look at some of these. From the AP, Juneteenth celebrations will be marked with marches and civil disobedience. Oh, civil disobedience. Interesting. What? Okay, so interesting. Civil disobedience used to mean, for example, breaking certain laws like, I don't know. I'm just going to keep going. I can't do it. And like the nationwide protests that followed deaths of black men and women at the hands of white police. Okay, I'm going to start over. Let me see here. Juneteenth celebrations will be marked with marches and civil disobedience, like the nationwide protests that followed the deaths of black men and women at the hands of white police. They are likely to be remarkably more multiracial this year. Now, I don't even know the races of the police in the Breonna Taylor debacle. Did anyone mention the names, the color of the police? And you know what? In the George Floyd, 2 of those officers were not white people. One of the officers was a black man, and the other officer who just stood by and watched was an Asian man. Following the deaths of black men and women at the hands of white police. See, it's almost like they're just trying. They're trying to stoke the fire. They're trying to put a little bit of gasoline here and a little bit of gasoline there and all that. You're right. It's okay. It's your First Amendment right to be racist. There is no thought crime in the USA. I'll agree with that. Racism is a personal thing with that you might have personal consequences, but there's no law. Shouldn't be. You can't regulate what someone's thinking. You can only try to influence them through conversation or something, actions, whatever. Holy shit. Anyway, let's see. Someone named Marissa Lang. After weeks of nonstop protests, Juneteenth in D.C. will be a day of defiance, with activist groups calling for walkouts, strikes, highway blockades, and lively celebrations. I like how they throw in and lively celebrations. Walkout strikes. What are you striking? What are you blocking highways for? What the fuck are you talking about? Again, expects thousands of protesters. I guess you got nothing else to do. Jesus Christ. Starting next year, New York City will recognize Juneteenth as an official city holiday. Okay. Texas has officially celebrated Juneteenth since 1980, but the country, amid widespread protests following the death of George Floyd, among others, at the hands of police, appears to show interest now in a national Juneteenth holiday. Yeah, let's start. Trump said he made Juneteenth very famous, but the holiday has been celebrated for centuries. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Now, listen to this again. Trump said he made Juneteenth very famous, but the holiday has been celebrated for centuries? Centuries? Okay, let me centuries. Now look, I here's the thing. Trump saying that he made Juneteenth very famous. You know, like, I already knew what Juneteenth was. A lot of black people already know what Juneteenth was, particularly if you live in Texas, Oklahoma, or places that already celebrate Juneteenth. That it's already a fairly well-known holiday among black people. Now, the idea that Juneteenth was not well known amongst other people around the country is also a fact. So yes, maybe in some way he made it more people more aware of what the holiday is. More people decide to go figure out what is this Juneteenth thing that I may or may not have heard of, right? That's cool. But the holiday has been celebrated for centuries. Can anybody tell me how long is a century? Because even the Emancipation Proclamation only happened in 1865. Or was that right? I think. And so the Juneteenth now was 2 years later. So 1867, June 19th, 1867 was when the Texas people realized, oh, slavery's over, and that's when they were notified, and everyone, that's okay. So that's what it's celebrating. So 1867, 1967 is 1 century, and it's 2020. So 2067 would be 2 centuries. So it hasn't been even 2 centuries yet. It's been one and a third century ago. How in the hell has this holiday been celebrated for centuries? Oh my God, someone at Twitter is a dumbass, and I am going to tell them after this show's over. Demonstrations against racial injustice and police brutality continue. A poll from the Associated Press Dork Center for Public Affairs Research showed that a majority of Americans approve of the recent protests in response to George Floyd's death. Interesting. Okay. Kentucky Attorney General on Thursday asked the public to remain patient with his office's investigation of the police killing of Breonna Taylor more than 3 months after the black emergency room technician was killed during a raid of her home. That's such a tough one. They screwed up so bad. But how, in the line of their duty, do they get arrested for the murder of Breonna Taylor? Obviously, the city or whoever is in charge there is going to have a major civil suit that they're going to lose very easily on their hands. I don't know what crime you can charge them with, though. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll find out. A New York City Council passed 6 bills that include requiring officer badge numbers to be visible, an official ban on chokeholds and other maneuvers that restrict blood or airflow, and a bill requiring oversight of the NYPD's surveillance technology. Okay, that's okay. Ex-officer charged with Rayshard Brooks shooting surrender to authorities. Yeah, they turned themselves in yesterday. That's a travesty, if you ask me. Police have retaken the Portland. The Portland Autonomous Zone has been retaken. Now, here, I think I already have. Do I have something on this? Apparently, the people in Portland who tried to make their own Chaz or whatever you want to call it. The police have removed barricades and tents as they reclaim several blocks that protesters made into a temporary autonomous zone in Portland, Oregon, outside Mayor Ted Wheeler's house. They did it outside Ted Wheeler's apartment, and Ted Wheeler finally has grown a pair and said, you know what, get the fuck out of here. No, this ain't happening. Hundreds of protesters marking the death of George Floyd established an autonomous zone between two Portland city blocks on Tuesday and Thursday night. Unlike Seattle's similar autonomous zone, Portland's effort only lasted hours before police were videotaped dismantling the improvised zone on Thursday morning. Playtime's over! Tweeted Blaze TV producer Elijah Schaefer along with a video of the cleanup, which is here. I don't know how long it is. We'll pop it up here for a second. Yeah, it's only 19 seconds long, okay? So they're taking care of the autonomous zone in Portland. Protesters in the city have called for Wheeler to resign over his refusal to ban tear gas. More than 12,000 people have signed an online petition demanding Wheeler's resignation. Portland, be careful what you ask for. Wheeler has been your saving grace, particularly to the Antifa crowd. He's been just as milquetoast and malleable as any mayor in the country regarding to some of the lunatics. Anyway, so good. Portland, somebody grew a pair in Portland. Finally. All right, moving on to other trends. Before I do that, let's check. I'm going to check these notifications real quick. What do we got here? Let's see. Thank you to Pirate Pete and RVA and Cynical Lindsay. Okay, the people who tweeted out the show. And all right, there you go. All right, moving on. Someone agreed with me. By the way, on the little boomer girl thing, so when Sophane was saying, yeah, she said that she's right, and I replied with, meh, that would get some Mick results on the truthometer, but I'm glad y'all are trying to look out for us. I was going to put one of those, the Game of Thrones where the Darius or whatever, who all the people that she freed, all the black people that she freed, the slaves she freed, and they start calling her Misa, and they lift her up because every time a white person feels like they have helped black people, they feel like Misa being held up by the black people. I was going to put one of those memes in there, but I didn't. But anyway, someone agreed with me. Mixed adults recede. This is a half right at best, and it only explains petty crime and not violent crime. I think the FBI crime stats have a healthy sample size to determine what those stats are. Yep, I agree. And Sophie doesn't really reply to me anymore. He and I don't necessarily argue on Twitter, but we usually have very civil discussions. But I'm always right, so there you go. Anyway, back to the Explore tab. Let's check out what's trending on Twitter real quick. Trending number one, Juneteenth. We've been talking about that all morning, or not all morning, but most of the morning, some of the morning. Anyway, brief history of Juneteenth. On June 19th, or Juneteenth, commemorates the day that the last enslaved people in Texas were freed in 1865. Wrong! It was 1867, you morons. Twitter's fucking up today. Many will celebrate as they have in years past with family, food, music, but this year, more politicians and big brands have begun to pay attention and recognize the holiday. Okay, whatever. We were freed. Okay. These people don't have any idea what they're talking about. Maybe this will have it right. Juneteenth is not the day that enslaved people were freed or the day that slavery ended. It marks the day when enslaved Texans found out they had been freed over 2 years later. See, that's just it. Juneteenth celebrates the end of slavery in the United States on June 19th. 1865, Major General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston and announced the end of the Civil War and the end of slavery. However, the Emancipation Proclamation... Oh, okay, it was 1865. The Emancipation Proclamation was in 1863. The Emancipation Proclamation came 2.5 years earlier on January 1st, 1863. Many enslavers continued to hold enslaved people captive after the announcement, so Juneteenth became a symbolic date representing African American freedom. Attempts to explain this 2.5-year delay in the receipt of this important news have yielded several versions that have been handed down through the years. Often told is the story of a messenger who was murdered on his way to Texas with the news of freedom. Another is that the news was deliberately withheld by the enslavers to maintain the labor force on the plantations, and another still is that federal troops actually waited for the enslavers to reap the benefits of one last cotton harvest before going to Texas to enforce the Emancipation Proclamation. All of which, or none of these versions could be true. Certainly for some, President Lincoln's authority over the rebellious states was in question. Whatever the reasons, conditions in Texas remained status quo well beyond what was statutory. So there you go. That explains what that is. Moving on. Emancipation Proclamation, we know why that's trending. Sir Ian Holm, known for roles in Lord of the Rings and Alien, has died at age 88. Rest in peace, Ian Holmes. Birther is trending. Why? Who knows? Well, let's see. So Melania Trump puts out a message for Juneteenth, and of course, I'm sure people are just shitting all over her today. So anyway, she writes, "Today we celebrate Juneteenth, the oldest nationally celebrated commemoration of the end of slavery in the U.S. In honor of today, I would like to share the story, All Different Now, by Angela Johnson, which sheds light on the first Juneteenth through the eyes of a young girl." So she must have read this this account, which, you know what? Never give him any credit for anything. So she went to a historian and learned about it and did this little video, which I'm not going to play right now. I might say, in fact, I'm going to bookmark that for later because I'd like to see what she did here. So I added it to my bookmarks. But someone here says, "You're a racist birther. That you even opened your mouth on this day is offensive." Really? Thank you, X-Bub Hotep, with the 666 and another shake weight alert. Wait, it is the year 2065. Damn, no wonder I'm not woke. I have been sleeping for 45 years. It has been centuries. Yes, the people who say in that century just cracked me up. Thank you, X-Bub Hotep, for the 666. Yes, that was the devil's shake weight alert. Did you catch the little look on her face when she realized what she was doing? Someone will have to do that again to show that one again. All right. Oh, fuck, all the way off, you birther, racist asshole. Is Melania Trump is a birther, racist asshole? I don't get it. What, the hate for Melania Trump? You demanded to see the birth certificate. Did Melania Trump demand that? Okay, birther, side note, why does every image of you look like it's set in a horror movie? Okay. Melania Trump was a birther. Ben Rhodes. Oh, these birther-ass Republicans celebrating Juneteenth like we forgot about their birth certificate bullshit with the first black president. Fuck Republicans. Okay, so apparently everyone thinks she's a birther and can't make a statement in support of Juneteenth. God, these people are just... You know what? Who are most likely to call people hateful or haters or any of those terms? Yeah. They have no hate in their heart whatsoever. Anyway, Juneteenth is trending again at 6. You know, usually when you have the same thing trending over and over, the powers at Twitter combine them into one. Now, this one they may or may not do. It's funny. I watch Twitter trends a lot. You know, I do this almost every day, and you can kind of tell what the Twitter people want to be emphasized by, what they allow to trend or what they change, or what they'll you know, like if there's anything that's positive for Trump, the exact opposite thing will show up trending, and then that will trend higher because the Twitter people manipulate their trends. But today, and also they will combine things that are trending that are the same thing. So normally you would see, if this, I see Juneteenth about 5 or 6 times down this list. Normally they would just trend the one at number 1, also trending with, well, Juneteenth 2020, Juneteenth Day, but they just keep going and going and going. But that's fine. I'm glad people are learning what Juneteenth is. It's a, you know, it's a holiday in the black community. And I don't know why. Okay, Vicky has something to do with some cartoon, and I don't care. Moving on, Moundsville's trending. Do I even care? I think that's something to do with Texas. For too long, the Moundsville police have been needlessly exposed to roadside bombs when patrolling the countryside. They're finally getting the protection they need. I think that's a joke. The Moundsville Police Department has added a vehicle to the fleet. It tells you everything this MRAP officers, and to explain how the department gets it for free. The West Virginia town of just over 9,000 people is where 23% of the population lives in poverty. The median household income is $30,400. The population is 97 white, and they bought this thing. I think they got it for free though, so you know. Thank you, Ex-Bubba Hotep. You're just going for all the shake weight. Thank you, sir, so much for the $9.99. Just wanted to hit the trifecta. I'm going to bed now. Good night, everyone. So that was for your entertainment. Everyone say thank you and have a good sleep to Ex-Bubba Hotep. Yeah, the population. I have no idea. They got it for free, but why do they have this vehicle? I got to be honest with you. I don't get it. This isn't in Texas, though. This is in Mounds View, West Virginia. I did say Texas, though. Well, here, okay, how long? It's only a 17-second video. Let's listen to the video. Oh, it doesn't. Nope, this is just the video of the truck coming out. What the hell are they going to use this thing for? It's a city of 9,000, had a grand total of 19 violent crimes last year. There were 0 murders and 2 robberies in Moundsville, West Virginia last year. When people say defund the police, they mean, I bet Moundsville schools need some bucks and maybe our money could be spent better. No, but they got it for free. I don't know what. Oh my God. Okay, that's why Moundsville's trending. Okay, let's see. Anything else interesting down here? June 19th, Cash App's trending. Freedom Day. MRAP, that's the Moundsville truck. George Washington's trending. Oh, did you hear that? They rioters in Portland burned a flag over a statue of George Washington. Trump was right. Trump was right. Some of these people are mob tearing down statues of George Washington are not protesters. They're criminals who should be arrested for destroying public property. Liberal local officials allowing and encouraging this madness are a disgrace. Yeah, they, look, and I'm one of those people, a century-old statue of George Washington destroyed in Portland. Unreal. Remember when Trump predicted 2 years ago and everyone laughed at him? Rioters burn an American flag on top of George Washington. You know, look, I'm not even one of these people who, when someone says, you know, you should never burn a flag and the protesters shouldn't be allowed to burn flags, I disagree. I don't agree that I would ever do it, and I think it's disrespectful, and I don't like the message that people do, but it's a symbolic act. which is speech. It's a symbolic act, just like kneeling is a symbolic act. When Colin Kaepernick knelt, the only problem with Colin Kaepernick is he wasn't kneeling on his own time. He was kneeling on his employer's time. So there's a distinction there, and he faced the consequences for it. Do I don't think he should be able to kneel if he wants to at the national anthem on a 4th of July celebration? No, you can do whatever you want. You can make your protest, you can make your statement. Doesn't mean I have to agree with your statement, but I respect your right to do that. I just think you're a dickhead, because Colin Kaepernick wasn't kneeling because of the American flag or kneeling because of anything to do with Black Lives Matter. When he started his protest, he was sitting during the national anthem because he was pouting that he wasn't starting and they wouldn't trade him. That's what his protest was. Just that when somebody asked him, they had to come up with something quick to say, "Oh, I'm not being a selfish prick. I'm actually protesting for the brutality of police." Yeah, bullshit. That's not why you were doing it. You lying piece of shit. That's why I don't agree with Colin Kaepernick. If he was truly protesting something in his heart and mind, I would have more respect for him than what he lied about that he said he was doing. So, anyway, that's my 2 cents. He was protesting his contract. Exactly. Burn the flag is part of this proposal. Well, yeah, no, that I know that. The people are saying, you should ban flag burning as a means of protest. Well, nah, unless you're burning someone else's flag, but I understand it. I don't agree with using that as a protest because I don't think this country is that bad. but anyway, all right, IEDs. That was with the truck in Moundsville, Kentucky, Independence Day. Low Life's Juneteenth, 13th Amendment. Okay. Into the Wild Bus, removed from Alaska Trail for safety concerns. Okay, I don't know. Anyway, all right, that's it for today, guys. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. It's still Friday, and hey, we got 48 people in here, and 23 likes. Check that like button on the way out before you go. I got to call it a day because I have things to do in about 10 minutes. So thank you so much for being here at the Morning Night Live today. I'm here Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, 1500 GMT for my friends in other parts of the world. Oh, we got another $5.99. Thank you, Gamer Valine. They got the MRAP from the 1033 program. The departments pay for shipping of the equipment. Its funding varies year to year under the Defense Authorization Act. Thank you. That's a good information. Yeah, that it really, other than getting it there, it didn't cost them. I just don't understand what a town of 9,000 people is going to do with that thing. But it is what it is. So, and on that note, thank you, Gamer Valine, X Bubba Hotep, and Johnny Hellcat for the super chats. Thanks for everyone who's been participating in the chat today. Thank you for all of you who share the stream, who are going to share the stream, or if you're watching on replay, who leaves a comment in the comment section. I always appreciate that, to know that you were here. And that's all, people. I got to go, and it's time for me to do my other thing. So, thanks again. Have a great weekend. My name is PDawg Knight. And I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is PDawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the PDawg Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterward so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through the Streamlabs link, which is also in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawg Knight, and I'm out of here.